has to do headphones. Hold on, I can't hear you yet, Gowtham. That might be me. I just put the head.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now you're good.
Oh, so I was just wondering, trying to recall, what is our goals for today?
Yeah, so this is office hours. So we don't have a full structure, but
Right.
we wanna so the objective is we troubleshoot, and we track progress, and then we answer any questions. Yeah, we check on everyone. And maybe Gautam at the last, after we answer all questions and check the progress, maybe we can spend some time talking about the week 2 activities and who wants to do the demo and what we're gonna demo. Which phenotype we're gonna demo and who's gonna walk through Atlas and concept set building. Okay, it's 9:03. Give people 2 more minutes. We have 7 people on the call who are not. Okay, we can start. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming today. So yes, as I said, our objective for the office hours is to track progress and troubleshoot, answer any questions in relation to the one objective, which is finishing our clinical description. And maybe just for next week, make sure that people understand what are the tools we're going to use and when the demo take place. And maybe if somebody feels good about their phenotype, we can take their phenotype as our demo for the Tuesday call to demo the next step, which is cohort building and concept set expression generation. Anna is on another meeting, so she won't be joining us today. So before I start answering before we start taking questions, I just want to talk a little bit about the progress. And particularly see any study lead who is on the call today was not last week and maybe didn't completely follow the instructions. Okay, so out of the 14 studies, just to give you a high level, and I'm going to share my screen and see how we are tracking things. So here are the 4, you all can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So here is our big tracker. Out of we have 14 studies right now, and then here is our progress tracker. This is what Anna started, and if you are a study lead, you would go here, put your study, your name, and then put all the phenotypes. Now that you have checked the names and happy with the labels of the phenotypes that we have specified based on the photo posts. The one thing we notice is there is currently only 4 studies out of the 14 that are here. That means we have studies that we are not even yet, they haven't even made it to the progress tracker. So if you're a study lead, make sure that you come to this sheet and you have listed all your phenotypes, basically going to your study like Anna right here and took all the union of all the indication, exposure, outcome, and list them one row per phenotype that needs to be worked on. So we can keep track of every phenotype that is required to be built and help you through that. We only have now 4, so we have 10 missing. Then the second thing is this would also match with the study leads who already went ahead and put in their clinical description in this folder. And so you'll notice that mostly the names of the people here are the and the studies that are here. So that's good. But that means we only have four out of the 14. And I see people on the call here that I don't see their studies in this folder or in the tracker. So that's fine. Just go ahead and do that so we can track the progress. On the Tuesday call, we're going to be opening this. On the Tuesday community call, we're going to open the tracker and basically give update on our progress. And I see a question from, the names are not showing up on my screen right now. I see a hand.
Probably from.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hi, Hazen. I hope you can hear me. So my question is, can you please reshare the link? Because I'm pretty sure I edit my phenotypes, but they are not in the list that is popping up on your screen. So maybe they're duplicate files.
No, you're here. I think you're here. I'm pretty sure I saw your name. Those are yours, right?
It's here. Okay.
No, you're here.
Thank you.
You're here, and your folder is, and your file is, the clinical descriptions are in the folder, so you're up to date.
Thank you.
So yeah. So does that make sense? So we just need to be able to provide a summary on the progress for the community on Tuesday, and that's our kind of reference of the progress. So we're going to basically have a slide that says the 14 studies led to that many phenotypes that made it to the tracker. So that means if your phenotype didn't make it in the tracker, you're already kind of unaccounted. And then from those, that's how many we completed the clinical descriptions for, based on the documents that exist here. Does that make sense? So help us just be organized, help us be able to know, because that's how we're going to divide and conquer, particularly Gowtham, myself, and Anna, in helping people building cohorts. So we're going to take the cohorts from here and start talking to the study leads to make sure we are helping you in building concept sets and developing your cohorts. Okay, so let me see, Kevin?
Yeah, so this is great. I tried using the ChatGPT. Well, I used ChatGPT. I probably should have used the internal J&J one because I reached the quota and had to wait like 4 hours to keep continuing it. Running clinical descriptions for ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. Of course, I probably could have used Kevin Intelligence and written the same thing, but I got halfway through it and it starts like, it's a pain in the butt having to copy and paste out of ChatGPT to Word. I thought it was stitching it all together, and then it like starts to edit itself and just like cross crap out. And I'm like, but you're crossing crap out that you liked 10 seconds ago, and I liked it 10 seconds ago. And it was just sort of like an utter mess. But then Anna found clinical descriptions for UC and CD that we had done with other stuff and was fine with that and moved it over for me. But I just wanted to offer that up, that ChatGPT didn't seem to be as good of a tool as I thought it was. And I just wanted to share that experience with you.
Yeah, because you're using ChatGPT for doing not bulk, but more than one or two.
No, I was just trying to do one, and I was following the prompts. Then I hit the prompt limit. So I've got to really just use the internal J&J one. But then I'm like, is the internal J&J one going to be different than ChatGPT one? So I had started that. The other thing is then you don't, it had some tailored-ish prompts to thinking I was interested in drug-induced ulcerative colitis, which I am clearly not. But we've built those prompts into our thing because we all think that diseases are caused by drugs, because many of us on the call are pharmacoepidemiologists or studying drug safety type things. So there was some of that where I was like, look, I don't care about drug-induced. I'm just interested in this as an indication. So there was a little bit of tweaking that might need to be done. The other big thing that I have is most of my stuff is in a the drug worlds, there's no clinical description. All I was doing was putting in the like daily med link, here's a package label, here's a whatever on the drug or the drug class. I don't need to write a clinical description of infliximab, but a lot of my phenotypes are available in our J&J library. I'm not adept enough to like, how do I move them, 10, 16, 17 from one atlas environment to have it get its own number in Odyssey land.
Yeah, I think two parts. I think it's an important question to just reflect on the use of the intelligent automation using these systems. The prompt that is there in the OHDSI Phenotype library that we are all using was originally designed for work that we've done as part of the designated medical events. So that's why the heavy load on pharmacovigilance. It's important to think about these tools as accelerators, and we have to modify them and then make them work for us instead of us working for them. And that's what you experienced. So you have to look at the prompt, make those changes, remove the pharmacovigilance part. Obviously, those were not explicitly discussed in prior conversations, but that is all the learnings that we are having. Prompts have to be precise, and it has to be to your use case. And this is an opportunity to do prompt engineering also. So we're on the same page.
Oh yeah. Don't take it as a critique. I was more offering it up as a here's where I was at, and it was editing itself, and I was like, oh, I can't even cut and paste, and then you open it up, and it only has the last thing, and I was like, oh no, all that work, and now it's only 1.6.0, and I'm like, I wanted a document of everything, So
and in terms of the prompt, right? Whether you want to use your proprietary J&J hosted or the public version or the public free version or the public paid version, they all come with different levels of sophistication and maturity because that's how their business model is. But the framework is the same. You just need to make sure that the output is something you agree with, and the tool is just giving you the output the way you want it. And it's just a tool that helps you write stuff and bring your thoughts forward.
Okay, but that's great in terms of learning for this level. I think I completely forgot that our prompt had this orientation toward drug-induced events. So thank you for that reminder, Kevin. And I'm happy you do.
But also, that's my passion. So
no, we're like this. Yeah, so we definitely and now from that work 2 years ago, Gowtham, when we did the prompt, now there's so many things to help us get a better prompt. So probably we can it's a low-hanging fruit to take that prompt and update it to a general clinical description. The other thing I took it and which kind of we touched,
or have multiple specialized prompts based on whether the code definition is meant for more a target cohort or an outcome cohort or a feature cohort.
Yeah, so so that's the other thing which we came from last week when we realized for procedures that's absolutely not needed. So we'll come with instructions or structure the work for depending on what kind of cohort it is. It's to your point, the drugs are obviously not needed. You just need to clarify, is it a class effect or is it a ingredient effect or it's some formulation? Okay, that all makes sense. Anybody has any other comments of learning for us to improve the process in terms of if you utilize the ChatGPT or anything like that? I have here Kevin's work as an exemplar.
Oh no! Move away from.
Move it here,
Kevin's work. Right?
But you from a tracking perspective, Kevin, you take 100% because you have all your clinical descriptions. Okay. Anybody else
looking for a passing grade in this class. That's all.
Anybody else has any comments in terms of completing their clinical description using the tool? I'm gonna go back and talk about progress. I'm trying to see anybody on the call who is not who's a study lead who did not let's see. The names are not clear on my screen, but let's see. I don't see. Oleg, I don't see your documents or your phenotypes. Is Oleg here?
No, he's not. So,
Is
but
that
he's
okay?
preparing the phenotypes and the
Okay.
clinical descriptions in his own folders. I think that he will transfer everything
Okay.
today, maybe, or this weekend. So
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Tanya, she got everything. Is Masha here? Oh, yeah, Masha is here.
Yep. Hello, Asa. Yeah, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Thank you. I'm fully involved in vocabulary release now, and I haven't yet uploaded my phenotypes here, but I'm finalizing them, and I'm going to do it this weekend. So
Okay, if do you need help? Do you need somebody to start it for you? Come up, populate the clinical description that you can review. Let me see. You've got
okay, thank
post-hepatic
you.
neuralgia. Okay, you really
No, I'm already finalizing my descriptions.
perfect.
I'm okay with
Okay.
it. Thank you.
Okay. Let us know if you need any help. Vlad, you're like Oleg, right? I assume you're good. You just need to move your folders.
no, I've moved almost everything. So I've
You
prepared
are. Hold on.
yeah. So I'm waiting for critic, and yeah, maybe some comments. So I've put the shortcut to the Trac-IT protocol. So
You trace it. You trace it. Sorry. Yeah. No. I looked at it already. You're all good. You'll get perfect. Yeah. We'll review. But yeah. No, I looked at the trace it. It's all complete. Sydney is not here, right? Sydney. I don't see Sydney. Yeah, Sydney. Maybe we will need to send her a follow up on the team channel. And Chen. Yeah, Chen is complete too. I see all the documents, and I see Chen is in the same bucket. Bowden, is Bowden here? Bowden is here.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Hello, how are things going with you, Bowden?
Everything is good. First of all, I would say that I'm very thankful for the prompt for GPT. It's very genius, really. It helps me to create a very good clinical description, which I will load shortly, maybe this weekend or today. But I'm still working at cohort defining. So I'm at work.
Okay, you're good. And we should expect your document just to look at it and make sure it's all good soon. Is that correct?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I will load it.
Perfect, thank you. And then Michelle. Yeah, Michelle is good. I saw the procedures, but I don't see the documents. Is Michelle here? Michelle's not here, but she was with Anne. We'll follow up with her. Michelle has the procedures, and she already had a document, but it's probably just not in the right folder. Okay, and then we need to check with Asia, I think, and Changguzu are the ones that we're missing. Okay, that in terms of progress. Any questions about clinical descriptions? Chris, I see you're here. I know you already started working, and I know you understand clinically your definitions very well, but is there any documents that we can use just as our for clinical descriptions?
There will be.
Okay.
We've been prioritizing the lit search for existing phenotypes and trying to nail those down first. We're going to try to tackle the actual descriptions over the weekend.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Chris. Okay,
Chris,
for that.
sorry, Chris, just wanted to understand the literature search. I wanted to understand how you're working through it. Do you have time to just walk through your literature search framework in 2 minutes?
Sure. So I guess this isn't like the best SOP, but we start by just looking at the phenotype library and seeing what exists there. If they exist, I look at them and I decide if I were a reviewer on a guideline committee, would that pass muster? And then I either say yes or no.
And if no, then I usually go to PubMed and start to search for the condition of interest using keywords like EHR, claims, et cetera. And then, pull several either reviews or original research and try to get a sense of what phenotype has the best or most robust validation. Because I figure the eventual paper will need to have citations that people can actually say, okay, this has been published, this has been vetted, and that would increase people's trust in it. And if they don't exist, I create them in Atlas. So that's kind of been the process.
Perfect. And do you know about the PubMed standardized search, systematic search that's on the OHDSI forum post?
I apologize. I actually don't.
Okay, I will send you the link.
So this is so because we're doing this in a compact time, in perfect word, we do two things. We do the prompt for the clinical description, then we do like a not systemized literature review, but a structured literature review, also using ChatGPT or GenAI, where we have a prompt that kind of identify prior studies that published phenotypes, particularly those that have been validated, to your point, Chris. But we didn't put that as part of the workflow for Phenotype February because that itself, looking at those papers, can take 2 weeks if you want to go in depth.
Yeah.
And we were not expecting for that kind of work to happen. And we were like, our literature is basically look at the library, look at Cypher, look quickly on other published papers, but we were not. But I think you make a point that we can still make that resource available, the prompt available for people who want to do it. At least we aid in that. Yeah, we'll add it to instructions.
Excellent.
And Gowtham.
Kevin, by the way, I'm embarrassingly realizing I spelled your name wrong in column E. I apologize.
That is not why I'm raising my hand. So Chris, I am sure that you have been down this rabbit hole. You find a algorithm for, say, incident rheumatoid arthritis. It was used in, say, Optum or market scan data. It wasn't validated, but then there's an obscure reference inside a methods section that then is like, okay, I'll click on that, get to that validation study. You look at this validation study, it's a 1997 ICD-9 paper or 2003 paper, like from, Soko Setaguchi for malignancy or, whatever, Brian Strom for liver stuff. And you're like deep in these weeds and you realize that it's a super old algorithm, obviously slightly different than what they implemented. And like, this is that rabbit hole that I imagine you end up going down. Because I go down this rabbit hole daily. We used a validated algorithm, some ICD-9 algorithm that was a decade ago or more and not really germane, but everybody keeps referencing that work over.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think for me, right or wrong, I use it more as kind of like broad strokes and a gut check.
Right.
So, the idea that like multiple studies have shown 2 codes are better than 1. Or that like, hey, if you incorporate this extra concept, you get a big gain in your PPV. Like, so those types of things I look for. But your point is well taken. Yeah, I am dealing with that.
Yeah. Okay.
And just looking at your list, we should have good stuff on SLE, dermatomyositis, uveitis. I mean, that from a J&J perspective, also that we should be able to help, right?
Yeah, 90% of the things we worked on and I submitted to the library. So, and I think they're looking at the OHDSI library, but it's harder to look at what the documentation of those. But I see that they already identified some. Similar, related to this topic, to help the groups, because everybody's figuring most of the people are figuring clinical descriptions, to help us for next week. I'm gonna take the action for people who already pasted their definitions here, because I'm very familiar with the phenotypes that are in the library. I'm gonna put for you candidates from the phenotype library because I understand that not everybody was able to search the literature, find existing things. So I'm gonna use column E to put definitions that are a starting point for people based on whatever they put in their clinical description. Just because I am a good librarian and I'm very familiar with the existing phenotypes, so I can point people to starting points, since that is kind of a prerequisite or can help in the week 2 instead of like starting from scratch. So I'm happy to do that. I can also do a quick cipher search. So if you want help, so I'm gonna dedicate the next 2 hours for that. If you want that kind of help, make sure that your phenotype exists in this progress tracker. Otherwise, I'm not gonna look at it because it's hard for me to go back to the column before and see apps like take phenotypes. Yeah, so that includes everybody, and that Kevin would include yours that I know there are in the J&J, and there's like a copy of them in the library. I can find your ID there.
Yeah, and just seeing from Krista's perspective, malignancy being an interest, we just did a whole sprint last year on malignancy stuff. So there's some good malignancy stuff in our library that probably needs to migrate out to the OHDSI library.
Yeah. Okay. So all the study leads, just make sure you put your documents in there, and definitely put your cohorts in here, put your phenotypes in here as one row per phenotype, so I can provide you with existing definitions in our ecosystem as a starting point for next week. I know there are people who are not study leads but would like to help, and that could actually be the part of the call for that. Anybody on the call who is familiar with Atlas as a tool and actually can build definitions or can look for concept sets, other than who is not a study lead? I know there's a big overlap, but who is not a study lead and here as a contributor, other than, of course, learning. Then, yeah, I know you. Okay, you guys want to say something, or you're just telling me that you are one fit that criteria?
Just saying I am, and I'm definitely
Okay.
helping with the
Yeah, you're doing, Ben. Yeah,
Yes.
Ben, you're doing all the truth. Okay. So I made, that. And then the other name, I can't see it. I saw another hand.
It was me. Yeah, I know something about it, and I'm not saying that I'm power user, but yeah, I've been trying to help last time as well.
Okay, and you're helping one of the study leads already?
No, yeah, I haven't yet. I just get lost a little bit in terms of where can I find which study and whatnot, but I'll catch up.
Okay, and maybe and you already put the form, right? You're in. I didn't get to see it.
I'm sorry to say I haven't.
You haven't. Okay.
No, I haven't. Sorry. Yeah.
No problem.
I joined a little bit later, actually, just now.
Okay.
I'll connect to Anna and see
Okay, perfect.
exactly what to do, how to do it.
Yeah, and she will line up with one of the studies. Okay, so perfect. Okay, so now to be ready for next week. So to be clear, next week community call. That's on Tuesday. We're gonna share the progress, and I'm hoping we're gonna say 100% of our studies got their clinical description already. So everybody move to the next stage. But other than that, we're gonna clarify what is now the steps for the next, what are the instructions for the next step, and we're gonna demo that. So we're gonna take one of those phenotypes and explain how would you build a definition, how would you start with building a definition, including finding a concept set and building a logic, whether from scratch or based on some prior definition that exists in a literature and you want to model that. I have 2 questions for the team. One is there any study lead that they would like to actually demo something? We would totally help, but would you like to do that? And is there any study lead who doesn't necessarily feel comfortable, but feel that they have looked in the literature, have a prior idea of what the definition kind of they want to model based on some publication that is produce some validation, and would like their definition to be kind of the exemplar for the community. Don't feel shy. It would be really not great if all Phenotype February, if Anna or Gowtham or me doing the demos. Okay, I see Tanya. I see. Okay, speak up, Tanya. You were first.
Okay, so I'm pretty confident in the phenotype definition I created. Not definition, but clinical description. So if there is a possibility to make it an example, I would be happy to. As far as I know, there are no previous experience of that phenotype in the library. However, I would still be thankful if you could help me with finding something, if there is anything.
Okay.
Yeah, and if we could use it as an example, I'm happy to contribute, although it is quite a narrow field and not oncology. So I'm not sure about people's interest, but still.
Okay, and would you be willing to do the demo?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, perfect. And you were thinking of your indication, I assume?
Yeah, the first episode psychosis.
Okay. And that would include the logic, and that would include the concept set. Walking through people, how would you use the tools to find codes and model a logic?
Is that demo for Tuesday?
Yes, and it would be on Atlas.
Okay.
We can help you. You won't be on your own. We can build the slides together and we will do it together.
Okay, then if syncing on Monday is okay with you, then I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I saw two other names, but I can't see the names.
I mean, I could help with demoing a specific and sensitive IBD definition versus a broad, potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be ready by Tuesday, but I might be able to get there. Jamie Weaver was the one that really helped me, but we could dig something up potentially. I don't know that I would, it could just be 4 or 5 minutes. Like,
yeah,
here's a narrow and here's a.
Yeah, and Kevin, yours actually has a long logic, right?
Yeah, it has a long logic from the perspective of what we did when we replicated this work that we did with charts and validations with Jim Lewis and other IBD folks. So it's about as good a clinical description as you're going to get when you have 4 or 5 clinicians creating it to really get at incident. So I mean, I could walk through that, but I mean, the other issue is that then becomes so specific that it excludes so many people that sometimes you want to back up.
Yeah, but I like the idea of Tatiana, you can spend more time in your demo about concept set building and finding codes.
Yeah, because actually the concept set for the narrow and the broad is fine because it's actually the same.
And and with Tatiana, we don't have to go close into we're not building on something. You have the term, you have the definition, you have the idea, which is first episode of psychosis, and then you show people how you would find the codes and how would you use the tools into finding the right concept set, how you build the concept set expression, and build and show a logic of maybe a simple logic of like first episode. And then Kevin can go from, well, I have IBD, I have publication that is validated, and I needed to remodel that, and this is how I can remodel it. and talk about the idea of I can have two versions, one that is intended to be broad and one that is narrow, and focus just on how you build the logic. So one will be example of using Atlas to build the logic, and the other will be using Atlas to come up with your first concept set expression. Does that make sense? And you guys, you think, I know it's hard because I know we're going to be tight on time, but we will really have 30 minutes in which we will have, we can provide progress in 5 minutes, and then 25 minutes split between the, and then 20 minutes split between the two, so 10 minutes for each, and then 5 minutes would be next steps that Anna will go through. Do you think we can do it in 10 minutes? Obviously, Kevin, you will not be able to click through everything, but you can click, like you can show one section and focus on it and say, you know, how you were able to model all the other criteria.
Yeah, sure. And the only other thing that I need done, and again, not by Tuesday, but I do need to split my IBD definition into a UC and a CD.
Yeah.
That I haven't done that yet. It would be a copy and then remove some concepts. We will not do that live or anything. That's a need that I still have. But
yeah, but that's simple. Yeah. Okay. I will work closely with Kevin, and then I will work also with Tanya, but Gowtham, you can also cover, like, in terms of like guiding, just okay. Perfect. So we'll take it with Kevin and Tanya separately, just to make sure everybody is ready for Tuesday. So next step, make sure your cohorts or phenotypes exist on this progress tracker. Make sure your clinical descriptions documents make it to the this subfolder, so you're accounted on the progress. And then that's by Tuesday. It doesn't have to be today. It doesn't have to be. It's just by Tuesday. So when we make the final count on the progress, you are in. And then the coordinate, like us as your coordinators, we will populate as much as we can in column E to help you as a starting point for next week. Anybody who is a study lead who has never ever worked with Atlas, and we really need, like, anybody who is a study lead on the call who has never seen Atlas, has no idea how it functions, or doesn't have anybody already on his team that know how to do that. Okay, good. So at least everybody has some familiarity. Okay, so that's good. Next week, we'll start with understanding what are the phenotypes that you need and where you're going to need to start from scratch, and if you need help in building cohorts in Atlas. We will use Atlas demo as our place to collaborate. So that's when Kevin says things need to move to the Odyssey. That means you would need to have a definition in Atlas demo to people collaborate and help you. And then one thing about Atlas demo that it just got updated, where if you open Atlas demo and you look at record counts for each code, it's now pulling out of a full Odyssey network. Gowtham, what's the thing that Claire manages? The network evidence?
Odyssey Evidence Network.
Okay, it's pulling out of Odyssey Evidence Network, so it's giving you counts of the codes, not in one data source or two data sources. It's across the community network. So that gives you, so that includes EHR registries and claims data. So that will give you an idea of the occurrence of these codes. Much better than what we have, Kevin. Yeah.
Can you just demo Atlas demo?
Oh, let's see if I know how to do that. Gowtham, what's the link?
Atlas. What are we trying to do, Kevin?
It's just Atlas demo.
Oh, just show us the public version of Atlas. Just demo the demo.
The link is here. Vlad just sent it out. It's I put that in the chat. It is atlas-demo.odyssey.org.
I don't have access to the chat. Hold on, I don't have access to the chat.
I don't have access to the chat either. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Gautam, could you steal the screen and do that while I send the chat? I'll find it and send it to Kevin. Anybody else doesn't have access to the chat?
Yeah, so this is can you guys see my screen? This is the atlas-demo.odyssey.org. The link was shared in this chat, but some of you, based on your tenant, may not have access to the chat discussion. It does have, if you search for a concept here, it will return numbers. So if I search for hypertension, and I'm using this advanced feature of Atlas, which is the shopping cart. In the shopping cart, it created the concept set expression. So here is the concept set expression. And in the included concept, these numbers are coming from the Odyssey Evidence Network. RC stands for record counts. DRC is descendant record count. And forget what PC and DPC is.
Those are person. So you can see it on the level of, yeah, you can see it on the record level and you can see it on patient's level.
Yeah. So that's useful to understand if a code is even used, and if a code is rarely used across our evidence network, then it's probably not worth our time to try to say if postpartum pre-existing essential hypertension is even something that we have to consider, because there's only 20 across our data source that has touched more than a few billion patients.
And it's pulling out of data that sits in different parts of the world. So you'll see other codes than, like, there might be some, obviously you're using standard, but like that tells you an idea about reads, read codes in addition to ICD-10 and ICD-9. And actually ICD-10, a lot of the data sources in Europe use ICD-10, not ICD-10 CM. So you'll be able to understand the prevalence of these codes across multiple vocabularies.
Yeah, it does have source codes, ICD-10, but it has ICD-10 as it has ICD-10 CM, but I did not see read code.
It should be.
Yeah, I don't know if Claire has released the names of the data network, because maybe the data network does not have a data source that uses read code.
Maybe not.
Yeah, but it should be there. Like if collaborators from UK are there, it should be the case. Like CPRD data is typically enriched with read a lot.
Yeah, so I wonder if we are seeing the counts on the standard level. I don't know if the vocabulary version supporting Atlas demo is up to date. So it might be just like that you're seeing source codes, but it's actually not properly populated, because she might be also gotten populating it straight out of the source, and we actually, like, it's not giving you the original source wrapping.
Yeah, it's a good question for Claire. We can follow up.
Yeah, but the point is, it doesn't, like, you might not see things on the source level, but the standard level is populated based on the evidence network. Odyssey evidence network. But Kevin, does this answer your question? Yeah, we will build step-by-step instructions of how we're gonna collaborate on the Atlas demo, and how, what's the end goal of the cohort IDs being in there, and how to give them there. And if you have another Atlas instance that you're collaborating on your own small team, like for example, if Chris and Ben, if you guys are working on your own instance of Atlas, there is a very easy way to move things over to any other instance without having to do cohort by cohort. You can put them all in one kind of place, and in one step it bring them all into another Atlas instance. We'll bridge that gap when we get to it. Same with us in J&J.
I assume you have to be a Greek god to do that.
No.
Okay.
No, you just build characterization, and then you transfer the entire characterization, and that brings all the definitions that are associated with it. Or incidence rate. Okay. Any other question? I know collaborators who are not study lead don't feel yet that they are fully in, but next week, that's when all the magic will happen, and everybody will have a task, and everybody will be a contributor in addition to leading a study or learning things. Okay. If no more question, we'll give the 10 minutes back, and we'll see you all on Tuesday community call. And Kevin, our stars, Kevin and Tanya, will talk about the presentation on Tuesday.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good day.